for episode 7 of the Jumble Bumble Crumble. We're filming in the evening tonight.
We are.
Ooh. So we have got the obligatory drinkies going on.
Yeah, and I've got my drink here, which it's my cocktail, which I'm classing as mostly gin. Yes.
And it's a catchy title. Cheers.
And do you know something? The more I sip this, the more I realise that this was a really bad idea.
So what's in there beside gin?
It's got
gin?
It's got ice, it's got lime, and then it's got mostly gin.
I don't think ice counts, really, does it, as an ingredient?
I'm hoping.
Ice in it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping that sort of somewhat dilutes the potency of it. But I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I think as the podcast continues, it will become less memorable to me. And then when I have to edit this back, I'll be like, oh, God, can we just go back to recording in the mornings?
Honestly, was it series 2 or series 3 when you got me to read out that really awful story? I really don't remember that. I drank so much wine. I was just about some of the things and I was like, I legit have no memory of doing this episode.
It's amazing how you actually find that you still have the ability to do quite a lot of things when your brain doesn't really seem to be in the thing.
Because we spread that one out over 2, didn't we?
We did,
actually,
yeah.
You were enjoying the story so much. So the first one I vaguely remember. The second one,
not at all.
No.
Yeah. I had it. I've had it a couple of times actually, where it's been like we've recorded in the morning, and then I just thought to myself, okay, I'm going to have a couple of glasses of wine, and then that turns into the bottle, and then I'm like, oh God, I've got to edit, and then I start editing. And in the morning, I've managed to upload everything, and I'm like, I can't even remember putting this up on the interweb. Yeah.
Before we get going, did you see the hilarious Instagram message that we got?
I did.
So I screenshot it because it made me laugh. And I read it up.
So for anybody who's intrigued, basically, I mean, to be honest, we have been looking for sponsors. It would be quite nice at some point in the not too distant future if we could actually, make a little bit of money off of this. Who knows? I
feel like this one would suit us. So we had a message today from Smooth My Balls, which is pretty much what it says on the tin. So we had. Can you drop us a message to Smooth My Balls? And I had a quick look on their Instagram page, and it is basically just male grooming.
It is, yeah.
Supplies, but they're really funny. There was a bit that was shave your bush, save the jungle. Every purchase helps plant a tree. That's one of their little adverts that came up. But yeah, they all look. It's just smooth my balls.
Yeah, we've already given them free advertising. There we go. But
there you go.
To be fair, this is a very modern thing these days. Everybody makes sure that they
smooths their balls.
They trim themselves. Yes, these days it's not the 1970s anymore, as we're discovering as we're moving into a magazine from 1991, where actually decidedly a lot less
decidedly
hair.
Less bush. Yes.
So yeah,
but
all links in very well.
Me earlier on today.
So since last we spoke, you've been to the Isle of Wight, where you've been a cowboy on stilts whilst people have thrown knives and shot at you. Amazing. That
may feature very heavily in my video for this week.
I can't wait to see that. And
you sent a 20-second long video. This better be the best bloody 20 seconds that I've ever had in my life, Jamie.
Well, interestingly enough, it's funny actually. It's just started playing in the background, which is not fair because then you'll see it firsthand. But I did actually have another video already sorted, and I'd recorded all the bits separately, and then my phone had a cataclysmic problem, and I lost everything. All I've got is I've got a sequence of just green squares where all of my videos were, and I was like, oh, for God's sake! Because I went the route of like Dom Jolly. I don't know if you remember Dom Jolly with Trigger Happy TV back in the 90s. You see, I'm showing my age here, but he used to do this thing where he carried a massive like Nokia phone, which would go. It would be the Nokia and then he'd shout very loudly, "I'm in the library," like this, and I was doing this. I was doing this thing where I was venturing out whilst talking about myself in the third person, and I was like, "Yeah, this is great." And then, of course, I've lost everything. So
no, that's so sucky.
Yeah. So the idea was there, but sadly that's not happened. So I had to cobble together, as I put it earlier, something which is a 15-second video. But at least
You cobbled like the wind, bullseye, as I think I sent a message saying.
It takes me back to sort of being in, what I would have classed as fifth year, you would have classed as year 11, where, it'd just be like, it's the night before you had to hand something in and you're like, oh shit, what can I put together? And you just hope that maybe like the humor of it might get you, it might just basically brush a mark as a result of being mildly entertaining.
It's the effort that counts.
Yes.
In true Tor style, I still only finished mine like literally a minute before I logged on to this call. But yeah, do you want to do our videos first?
Yes, I think we should.
Okay, shall I do yours or do you want to do mine?
I feel like this time I'm going to say let's do yours first because yours is 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Whereas
so between the two of us, we have videos that equate, what they should normally
to 3
be.
minutes.
Yeah, I don't really know how mine's not really anything to do with the task that you gave. It's basically just a nice summary of my week.
Well, we like that, don't we? We like to share. So
it's been exciting, and I'll talk about it after you've watched it because I don't want to ruin it too much.
Okay, so without further ado, I am going to play Tor's effort now.
It was Monday morning, and Tor was getting ready for another long week of...
I think Tor wants something a bit different this week.
Welcome to the Wild West, where Tor met Snake Eye Sai, the baddest cowboy in town. He showed her the ropes, and it wasn't long before Rootin' Tootin' Tor got into the spirit of things. Yeehaw!
This has got such high production values. You have no fear.
It wasn't long, though, before the week was over, and Tor found herself waking up on another Monday morning, getting ready for another long week of... Okay, yeah, who are we kidding? I wonder where she ends up this time.
You are literally like Mr. Ben. That's amazing. Not only were the production values absolutely amazing, so therefore I'm really pleased I didn't make a massive effort because there's no way I could even remotely compare to that. But secondly, and something for those of you who are listening to this on Anchor, I can only suggest that you go and watch this on YouTube or go and look on Instagram because this was you on the Isle of Wight basically playing cowboys. But the one thing I notice about you is you never flinch. Ever. So you have somebody like spinning a bullwhip around you whilst like knocking the head off a flower. You then have axes thrown at you, knives thrown at you, you're shot at, and you never flinch. Have you always is that just part of what makes you
I don't know. I really don't know. I think my sunny disposition. I'm like, it'll be okay. But no, Sai's always just like, what's wrong with you? Like, we'll do practice sessions and I'll just be like, yawning on the knife board. And so I was like, can you try and pay attention? I'm like, sorry.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, so I've had the best week. It's been so good. So we were out making bubbles and stilt walking and doing some Western Danger shows. We had gorgeous weather and I'm just so buzzed from it all. I had such a good time. But yeah, so that was my little video compilation of what I've been up to this week that's vaguely in third person, but not really.
No. But it's so wonderful to see you doing what you do. And that's the key thing. That's the most important thing. If anything, the JBC has been a bit of a filler whilst we were all locked in, wasn't it? Really, and it's been nice for you to be able to do your bits and pieces creatively. But you are just a hugely creative person in your normal job, and amazing to see. Absolutely amazing to see. So please go and watch that, and go and follow Tor and all her chums on Instagram.
Point blank knife throwing is the one where I post all those kind of bits up. But no, it was great. We got some fan art whilst we were on the island this week as well. There was a little girl who loved us so much. She came back the next day and she bought me a bit of sea glass from the sea she collected that she thought I'd like, and then did a little drawing of me and Sai. And me and her had matching outfits with matching sparkling cowboy hats. And I was just like, They came back specifically because she was like, she loved you so much, like she wanted to give you this picture.
Oh, that's so cute.
I'm gonna die. But yes, that was adorable. So yeah, I had a good week.
Absolutely. She'll be like my mate who in junior school said that he used to wear a t-shirt that said, when I'm older, I'm going to grow up and, join the circus. And he did. So, dreams do come true. That's it. You've inspired a young lady into a lifetime of adventure where people will throw knives
and insanity.
And you'll never flinch. Yeah,
I don't know if there's something wrong with me or a bit of my brain that's missing. I just don't really know. But yes, okay. So
on the subject of danger, I've tried to go the David Attenborough style. So this isn't going to take long. This is only 15 seconds. So here we go.
This is, although bizarrely, on my messenger on Facebook, it's just coming up as a grey square, whereas it was showing up on my phone.
Interesting.
But yeah, I don't know if I do it on my phone, it might mess up my...
it might do. Hang on. So
audio recording.
I wonder if I can send it again.
Technology loves us. Yeah, it shows up absolutely fine on my phone.
But it's not showing up on the computer.
No, technology.
So interesting.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I'm going to just try and send it
again.
I'm going to try and send it again because it's literally only 20 seconds.
20 seconds. I am intrigued to know what you have managed to do in 20 seconds. Okay, I am pressing play on your 20-second video.
When out in the wilderness, Jamie likes to consider himself a graceful climber.
Oh, dear.
Nailed it!
Yes.
Jamie likes to consider himself a graceful climber.
Yes. Do you know something? I'm going back to conquer that particular climb on Saturday. So yeah.
Was that the famous scream? Was it the Wilhelm scream?
That was the Wilhelm scream, yeah. I had to put the Wilhelm scream in. Of course. That is the obligatory scream to put in, isn't it?
Does that person get royalties every time it goes out in a film?
I'm pretty sure that person's no longer alive because it was filmed from like the 1950s. And
did they get royalties every time that sound effect went out?
I think probably, sadly, no. Although it's the infamy, I guess, which was probably something that
probably something like Spotify when you get 0.0005p every time someone plays your song. It's like every time someone puts the Wilhelm scream in film, 0.00001 pence of royalty.
Exactly, yeah. And do you know something? Actually, I did take the Wilhelm scream from the original video. I didn't take it from any of the other ones. I took it from the original Wilhelm.
The purest source.
Exactly, from Wilhelm himself when he gets an arrow in his leg. Actually, ironically, it's very much like what could go wrong in your particular line of business. So if you ever find yourself with one of those blooper reels where a knife or an axe or a gunshot hits you,
I have to perfect my Wilhelm
just do
scream.
the Wilhelm, yeah. Just do the Wilhelm over that. or please don't. Actually, it's probably the better way of putting it. Yeah.
Just don't get hit. That'd be a better option for everybody.
Don't get hit. So anyway, this week I said that we were going to move on to some of the ladies. I have sent you some of the photographs. I don't know if you had the opportunity to be able to open those.
Did you send them on email?
I sent them. Yes, I sent them through a.
I'll get them up now.
Yeah. So in it's always the way when you get the pictures, because I scan each page in separately. It means that quite a lot of the time you just get a lot of sort of lady bits all on one screen.
Oh, am I going to have a load of close-up vagina again?
You are.
But, Jamie!
Well, we've managed to escape looking at the naked pictures in this magazine for a full 6 episodes.
That's
so it's
true. I have been devoid of close-up proof shots.
Yeah. It does
they say.
It does seem really, really weird, though, like that this magazine's from 1991. So we are talking 30 years ago. But as I said, and I think I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, it is a little bit strange now because the photographs from 1991 are very much what you would now sort of expect quality-wise from people who put pages up or things on Instagram and all those sort of things. So it somewhat loses a little bit of its joy from the previous decades.
That was one of the things we most loved, wasn't it? It was kind of like the character of all of the ones from the old magazines kind of had a bit of a cutesy, innocent...
Yes.
Fun, naive quality to them.
Yeah.
Whereas, we're moving into the airbrushing era now, where everything has to be perfect.
Exactly, and it's the sort of the time of the unattainable body. Really,
there's a vagina
straight away.
No! Woo!
So we will start. So we've got 2 ladies today. And do you know something? The first of the ladies is called Timea.
She's very pretty. She looks like. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Do you not think she looks like the one who plays with Marjorie, the one who was married to?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know exactly the
one.
She
looks loads. I'm thinking, is she Tyrell? Someone Tyrell?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The one who burst into flames with the old green goo. Yeah. But yeah, I think the whole family carked it, didn't they? Was she the one she was married to?
She was Joffrey. She married Joffrey, but then obviously he was poisoned. Yeah. So she looks so much like her.
I know. Do you know something? If you think Timea looks like her, you wait until you see. I can't remember what the other one's called. I think it's Michaela or Michelle or something like this. But anyway, so Timea, photographed by Michael Moore. Now I don't know as to whether that was the Michael Moore who then went on to do Bowling for Columbine, and I don't think it's the documentary maker, but just another guy called Michael Moore. It's not the most obscure name, I guess. It's a little bit like being called Kevin Smith. There's going to be a fair amount of people who are called that as well. But it says here, and do you know something?
Hang on. What is the advert at the top of this, on the top left page?
Competing for a $1,000 prize for the biggest... cockroaches
have been... For the most creative roach. If your kitchen is swarming with potential superstars, send your entries dead but not squashed to Combat Quest Pest Shop. What? They could be bigger than the Beatles. What is going on?
Okay, yeah, so do you know something? It goes, bugger this for a lark. It says cockroaches have been seen in all the best places. The QE2, the Cafe Royale, the Ed's penthouse apartment in Willesden. But now... these bit part players have a show of their own. It's the Cockroach Hall of Fame in the Empire State Building in New York. The exhibition to run by Combat, a pest control system so effective that it can even rid your television of Paul Daniels. Well, there we go. That tells you it's in 1991. Entomological autograph hunters will be queuing for a glimpse of Elvis Roachley, the Roachettes, the King Kong cockroach on top of the model of the building where the superstars perform, rather stiffly because they're all dead. There's even a battery of bugs in tanks ready to take on Saddam Hussein, employed presumably after the British Army's cutbacks. The silly buggers who have created these cockroaches clusters were competing for a $1,000 prize for the biggest and a $500 prize for the most creative roach. If your kitchen is swarming with potential superstars, send your entries dead and not squashed to Combat Quests. Basically, care of.
Weirdest thing.
But you know something? It does make me think. There's a museum in Tring which is not that far. It's like it's kind of like it's the Natural History Museum. It's got the saddest lion. It's got this bit of like taxidermy where this lion just looks so sad. And I'm going to put the picture of the saddest lion here.
Bad taxidermy.
Yeah.
There's a really funny. It's not taxidermy because it's like it's in the Pitt Rivers Museum in Oxford, which if anyone has the chance to go, it's amazing. It's got all like the shrunken heads that are in Harry Potter. Yeah. And it's got it's where Philip Pullman had all the ideas for like Lyra, and it's like there's a little kid's outfit of like the northern kind of furs and travelling outfits. So like the Northern Lights basically he kind of like wrote whilst he was there, and also that's all based in Oxford. But it looks like a museum that my mum's curated. It's just shit everywhere. But they've got a T-Rex there, and it's the derpiest T-Rex. It's literally like, no. Like it's got like a weird goofy smile. From the front its eyes are pointing in like completely the wrong directions. It's like, what is wrong with this T-Rex? No, I love a bit of shit taxidermy.
I reckon we could do a whole episode about like our favourite museums, because it's like Sir John Soane's museum in Lincoln's Inn Fields in London is like literally one of my favourite museums ever, because basically the guy said he carked it, and he said, and he like basically plundered various places, including like sort of Egyptian tombs and all those sort of things, and his house was just an absolutely filled with clutter, but like amazing clutter. And he was like, I will gift my house, but it has to stay exactly as it is. And for years, up until about the last sort of 5-6 years when they did actually add an extension to it, but for up until then, like it was a century where his like madhouse in central London with all of the stuff that he'd stolen, he'd find like a Greek bust and like staple it to the wall and things like this. It was mental, but it was just like, it was just one of those museums you go into and you go, absolutely amazing. But anyway,
I love daft museums and stuff. We went to one that was, I think it was like somewhere near the Scottish border, and it was literally all just full of like taxidermy, but it was like, mice sat around playing like poker, or like, it was like animals in weird it was weird. But like I remember walking around there as a kid and being like, what the fuck?
Well, looking at this thing here where it's talking about these cockroaches, although we're doing everything we can to avoid the naked ladies at the moment. But anyway, so this thing with the cockroaches, basically if you go to Tring Museum, in Tring Museum they have 2 fleas who are dressed up as Mexicans. And do you know something? Every time I was there as a kid, I used to always want to go and look at these 2 fleas dressed as like little Mexicans. And they're still there. And you go and see them.
That's amazing.
Basically, you just go and look at these 2 like little magnifying glasses, and you go and look, and you could just see these little fleas dressed up. Absolutely brilliant. But anyway, going to Timea, do you know something? The one thing that I've noticed about her is, so in her write-up, which is sprawled across the pages, as I said, she's a very sultry looking thing, again.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's 20 here. It says, since we told you, since we told all you guys about Timea's blossoming movie career in volume 20, number 8, the Club HQ has been bombarded with offers from would-be thespians desperate to take a lead with the Hungarian-born beauty. Sadly, Timea isn't impressed. Surprisingly. Sorry, guys, I could never date an actor. I'm not even going to try a Hungarian accent because I am just going to sound... it's going to sound like casual racism, and I don't want to do that.
Fair point.
Yeah, it goes, sorry, guys, I could never date an actor, says the gorgeous 20-year-old. And then I had to go through many pages of her... naked, and it says dismissively, they're just too temperamental. I like a man who can make me laugh out loud. I find a sense of humour very sexy indeed. Of course, confides Timea with a wicked glint in her eye, a man has to have certain other attributes too. Winky face. I'm a woman who demands incredible amount of attention, and I like to be pampered constantly. Any volunteers, guys? ? So yeah, but just looking at that, the thing that I looked was, I was like, okay, Timea, burgeoning film career. So I tried to do a search, and I can't find anything about her.
No. That'd have been so cool if you managed to find like this really shitty B movie that she was in or something.
But do you sometimes feel like, the way I feel like, particularly, as we say, a lot of the time these write-ups we know are complete nonsensical, but when you read something like this, and I think we had it a little bit in Mayfair's first magazine, where there were a couple of people who think were sort of talking about their film careers. I can't remember the name of the girl now, but one of them had been in a Bond film or something like this. But anyway, you look at this and you think, this is the start of your career, and now like we're reading this 30 years later, where you'd now be 50. And not to be fair, I'm going to be 45 this year, so I'm not far off that. But I do look at it and just think, oh my God, what's she doing now? She's probably not doing all the things that she imagined she was going to be doing when she was 20.
No, probably not. I'm also just looking through, because all these come up in a bit of a weird order for me. Yes. There's underneath the cockroach story, there seems to be the end of a story from somewhere else.
Yes. That was the Dirty Dancing story, which goes on and on. Also has the...
I just enjoyed... Also, Knob... Does Knob have a K? I'm just being a pernickety spelling person now.
It depends. I memean, a lot of the time, I think if you're referring to the male genitals, you would say knob with an N as opposed to a knob.
K is like a doorknob. Also,
yes.
Talk about things with K's in. I think I've discovered the best chocolate bar of all time today, and this is relevant because of the K.
Okay, go on.
Have you heard? I'm going to see if we've got any.
It's going to be a Kinder. Is it a Kinder?
No, it was a Knoppers.
Is this a Polish?
Have you heard of them?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's like a Snickers and a Kinder Bueno had a beautiful, beautiful baby.
Yeah.
They're amazing. I posted that on my Instagram story and Knoppers got back to me and with a little, they were like, love that. It's just like, it's the best write-up. Anyway, if you've not...
Is it Polish?
I don't know where they're from. I don't know. They're amazing. They get them from Aldi and they're just amazing. So there you go, guys. Get yourself a Knoppers.
There we go.
We're doing all of the plugging of things
all the
today.
sponsorship. Yeah, all the sponsorship today. Yes, but the other interesting thing actually on that first page with Timea at the bottom, you've got the top 10 corner. And I just like the fact that their number one is Jodie Foster, who is clearly now out as a lesbian, very happy.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just like
you've got Madonna, Samantha Fox, Kim Basinger. Yeah. Who's Ginny?
Ginny. Oh, you'll meet Ginny in episode 8.
Kylie Minogue. Everyone's got singer/actress. Like, you don't know who Kylie Minogue is. Teresa Russell, don't know who that is. Amanda de Cadenet.
Yeah.
Priscilla Presley and Catherine Zeta-Jones. She must have been well young during that bit.
Yeah. It would have been like sort of when she was probably on the darling buds of May before she went and hit Hollywood.
But the snippet of story above is just really making me laugh. I'm just going to read this bit out. We're not reading the story at any other point, are we?
No.
So we've got... Tanya started to press herself up against me and she gave me a sly smile as she felt my knob pressing against her stomach. We ended up snogging each other on the dance floor because snogging is a sexy choice of words. Before I had the balls, you know what you need? You need some smooth my balls. Yeah. See, we'd be great at this plugging malarkey. Yes. Before I had the balls to ask her if she fancied coming back to my room for a nightcap. Oi, oi.
Yeah.
Tanya agreed and we quickly headed up to my room on the 5th floor. In the lift, I began to slowly stroke Tanya's slender thigh, and when she moved sexily at me, that was what I like, when she moved sexily at me. What does that mean? I moved my hand higher. That's all the story that I need. That's great.
Exactly. To be fair, do you know the one thing that I would say that I quite like is because the other girl that we're actually going to look at as well, it's the same thing with the write-up. It's very British. So with that, we just had snogging and knob. And
I'm going to start moving sexily at people, though, because I don't know what that means. But I feel like that could be a fun way of moving. I'm moving sexily at you.
So we're going to move sexily on to our next girl. Who do you know something? Again, I'm like, I look at her, and do you think, or is it just me? So what's her name? Michaela. Do you think Michaela looks a lot like Amber Heard? Ex of Johnny Depp.
I think it might be the eyebrows.
Is it?
Like the eyebrows, the dark eyebrows and the light hair. I've got a different girl as my next picture who's all dressed in like white, and she looks loads like Nicole Kidman.
I've sent the wrong one to you, but I remember now.
She looks loads like Nicole Kidman. So you have to flash this picture up now anyway. Just
no,
because.
That's fine. So basically, we'll be coming to Michaela at another point. Do you know something? I think I couldn't find that one. So here we go. I know exactly the one you're talking about now. But she's got this one. She's got like, it's like she's very 90s. She's either crimped or plaited her hair, hasn't she?
Oh, this, yeah. There's, I have got Michaela as well with all the red beads.
Yes.
Because that's a look.
So I've put 3 in here, haven't I? You see, I didn't realise. Yeah.
I've got a little cheeky snippet of Nicole Kidman wannabe. I enjoy the pose where she's lying on the bed. This is the weirdest pose ever. So she's like kind of doing a weird one leg up, like looking really sad. What is this? That's going to have to be a remake picture for the challenge for next week for sure.
Oh, yes. This is Susie. Yes, I know the one you're talking about now. I didn't realise I'd sent that one as well.
Oh, there's a butthole.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't had a butthole in a while.
No, exactly. I'm sorry about that.
What are some of these poses? Which is almost she's like swan diving forwards with her legs open. That is something.
Oh, dear me.
Oh, Michaela's going for it with the poses, though. You can't say she's not working hard for that.
No, she's definitely she's definitely making her money. I mean, the one thing with Michaela is I was going to say with her write-up, it just amused me that it goes, "Marvelous Michaela is a lady who needs no introduction to regular readers of this illustrious organ." So they refer to their magazine as an organ. I think
that's disgusting.
That is wrong.
Why?
Her pouting lips, perfect breasts, and munchable bum. You see, that's a very British thing. Munchable bum.
Munchable. Oh, a very munchable bum.
Yeah. Have had all you guys putting pen to paper and writing reams of poetic praise to the blonde bombshell. I think it's probably called Filth. But yeah, and she reads.
Oh no! I really hope it's like really awful limericks. That's the kind of poetry I want to be receiving.
He goes, and she reads every single one. She doesn't, but you know.
No, she doesn't.
She goes, your letters seem to get dirtier every time. Coos, Michaela. I get incredibly randy appearing in club, but you know that already. You're always telling me how horny I look in my pictures, and you're right. It starts off with a tingling feeling in my pussy, reveals the 21-year-old stunner, her hands straying down over her beautiful breasts and spreads over my whole body. By the time I've finished the pictures, I have to sneak off to the ladies' room for a quick frig. You see, there we go. We haven't had the word frig.
We've not had the word frig at any point, I don't think. It is for a quick frig.
Yes, exactly. That's where I read all your randy letters. All I can say is it keeps them coming. It just goes to show, guys, the pen is mightier than the sword. Yes, but I mean, looking at that, do you know something? I could just imagine her, right, sort of after her photo shoot, like grabbing a load of like letters under her arm and like running off to the toilets.
Be right back!
Just going for a frig. I'll see you later.
Just going for a quick frig, guys. It looks like she's just rather painfully fallen out of bed into a number of awkward poses.
Yes, you know.
And then she's like, "Oh, nipple."
Yes.
Just like.
It's there. I didn't know I had two of them.
Oh,
yes.
that's exciting.
Yeah. They aren't the greatest. Yeah, they aren't the greatest poses. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't normally sort of imagine yourself like you go, okay, so right, basically rest your legs on the sofa and then lean over the sofa whilst leaning onto your elbows. Pull your hair over onto one side and then try and look seductively. It's just
I love that her face is completely covered. The picture is literally just like some weird, sexy cousin it that's just fallen off a sofa. That's the vibe we're going for in the shoot, Michaela, please.
Yes, bless her.
Think S&M cousin it.
Yes. There's a lot of blankets on that sofa as well.
There's a lot of blankets.
You know,
I was going to say, maybe it's winter and she was cold, but if that was the case, put more clothing on, love.
Yeah. But,
oh, and they're red, like, crocodile print shoes. Oh, that's a whole new level of tackiness. I applaud you, Michaela, for that one.
They're incredibly tacky. It's funny, actually, the more I look at it, I don't think it's actually a sofa. I think it's...
Is it something they just made themselves by putting a doily over something?
I think so, yeah. The more I look at it, the more I think it's just...
like the most low-market shoe ever. It's like, just like put some chairs together and we'll just throw this net curtain over it. It'll be fine.
It's like when you're making a blanket fort when you're a kid. You know what I mean? It's just like... It
looks like they've made a blanket fort. That's totally what it looks like.
Out of your nan's like throws and like sort of, you know, those nice sort of like lace things that used to go on under like table, you know, on the table when you were having like afternoon tea. Yeah. So there we go. But
I love her. She's great. I think she's my favourite. Commitment to the poses.
Well, it's commitment, but it's also kind of like, as you say, with the one where you could just see her head, it's almost like almost just a degree of bone idle laziness. It's just like, do you know what? I can't be bothered to actually just put a pose. I haven't got a lot of upper body strength, so therefore, I tell you what, if you want to see my ass, that's absolutely fine, and I'll just lean forwards, my hair all over my face.
Maybe, Jamie, she was just so turned on by that point and focused on the end game of the frig that she'd just given up at this point and just gone, oh, it's too much.
Do you know the thing with the word frig is it just always reminds me of pirates because they've got the whole sort of climb the rigging. I was just thinking,
like isn't a frigate a type of ship?
It
like
is.
A frigate?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Do you know something? Maybe I do need to read up and actually find out the the nature of the word and how it's changed.
I mean,
over time.
there aren't many nice words for masturbation because like other ones for women's like fapping. That's not a particularly nice one either. I don't think there's any particularly nice words for it. But frigging, I think, is particularly enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, but saying that we haven't seen that. I don't think out of all of the magazines that we've read, to this date.
I'm not sure they've even really talked about it, have they?
I think they've certainly talked about like sort of touching themselves or pleasuring themselves. We've definitely had that before, but we haven't had it where it's just like going for a frig with a load of letters.
Have you heard about there's an office somewhere that's giving like rather than doing like smoking breaks, they've started up like masturbation breaks.
Yes, and I do know about that because do you know something? It really made me laugh because many years ago there was a TV series which starred Mark Heap, Simon Pegg, Bill Bailey, and there's a particular and Kevin Eldon. It was all of the kind of sort of comedians of the time, and it had lots of other people involved in it. In fact, my favourite sketch from it was a TV show called Big Train. My favourite sketch was a Chris Morris one where it was basically the artist formerly known as Prince, but like as a actually sort of as a David Attenborough thing where he was going in and devouring jockeys as they were stood like in grassland. But anyway, the one from there which is that you've got this whole one about could people stop wanking in the office, and I'll send you the link, and I'll put the link in below on YouTube as well. But it is literally, it's just one of those just really stupid but amusing sets where you just see a very, very young Simon Pegg. Yes, yeah, but very, very funny. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know something, though? Actually, I do, with the whole smoking breaks, it does really, really annoy me. Because do you know something? If it is the case that maybe somebody wants to take another hobby, if masturbation is a hobby, then maybe that's okay. Because smokers
it's better for you health-wise.
Well, this is true.
Because the thing, wasn't there a thing where they've added it up and it's like smokers on average over like a year end up with however many hours extra break because they go out for cigarettes, whereas people who don't smoke.
Some employers have actually talked about giving non-smokers an additional 2 weeks holiday, which I think is more than fair. I find that particularly in where I work, there's a lot of people who are smokers. And do you know something? It's probably the thing is with me. Maybe I'm a bit preachy about it because actually, when I first met you, I was still smoking, but that was like 12 years ago, and I did actually quit in 2010. So I've now not smoked and I haven't touched cigarettes at all for 11 years.
That's so good.
So although I'm always going to be an ex-smoker. The thing is, I think the majority of like sort of long-term damage that I've done, hopefully, touch wood, won't be so bad. But it also makes me really bad because the thing is, I am like, for fuck's sake, it's not that difficult. I managed to quit. Just guys, just don't do it. I know it's an addiction, and I'm not being horrible to people, but it's fucking easy. Just quit, for God's sake.
My friend's mum though tried to do the same thing. She was like, just quit, it's easy. She started smoking and then got hooked and was a smoker for like however many years. She was like, all right, I'll start smoking and we'll stop together and we'll see how easy it is. Then she started smoking and was like, shit. But no, they've said, I don't know where it is. Is it Germany that's setting up the masturbation breaks thing? But I just
sounds
thought it
like
was
a German thing. Yeah,
it does. But I was like, can you just like the fact that it's sort of like a masturbation room? I find kind of a bit weird. Like, could you imagine going in there after someone else? Because it's just a bit like, all right, Bob. Yeah, all right, Jim. Just gonna,
All I can say is, and this will be a story. I think I've talked about it before, but I've never really gone in depth about it. But I did happen to go.
I drank the gin tonight, so I'm going to give you all the stories.
I did happen to go to a sex party once, and there were a lot of UV lights in there, and that was something that actually really horrified me.
That's not a good thing to have at a sex party.
And there were so many UV lights, and you're just kind of like, oh my God, this looks like...
Do I want to sit here? No, I don't want to sit. No, I don't want to sit over there either.
It's literally like watching one of those CSI programs, you're just kind of like, oh my God, It's everywhere.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
No, it's grim. It's grim.
No.
So yeah. So prayer rooms, absolutely. Smoking rooms, absolutely not. Masturbation rooms, maybe just
still on the fence.
maybe just do it in your car, or just do it out in the wilderness. You know what I mean? It's nice and sunny at the moment.
Just
it's absolutely fine.
For a wilderness wank.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you can do that sort of typically British thing of maybe making a tent around yourself. You know, like when you're trying to get changed on a beach.
Yeah, on the beach when you have like the little things you put in the ground.
Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, I believe that's a public indecency, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. God,
caught.
you have to be really, really careful about that. I mean, I have to admit, like, there have been occasions where I've left the house and not realised I've done my fly up, and it's like, oh dear, you could really get yourself in trouble these days.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the wank room will kick off in the UK. I mean, like Germany, sure they're far more like, if you go to spas in Germany, you have to be naked. It's like a rule. Yeah. Whereas in the UK, we're like, oh no, exposing things couldn't possibly. So I don't know how likely it is for the wank room to take off, but I just love that's a thing. Like, it makes people, more attentive and more hardworking, and sometimes you just need to have a midday wank. It's like, sure, all right.
Why are you saying that? I think the amount of men who will probably attest to the fact that after they've come, they're just like tired and they want to go to sleep means that it probably wouldn't be a productive afternoon. You just have a lot of people having a nap.
Men, yeah, that's true. Like, oh no, it's apparently meant to make people. I don't know if it's men or people more truthful because of like certain. Yeah, like whatever is
that are released.
Yeah, because you're meant to give out endorphins that make you feel like closer and more secure with the person. So apparently it makes people more like open and truthful afterwards.
Okay.
All these people being like calling up after their wank break, being like, "Oh, sorry, no, your order won't be ready on time. I just haven't done it. Bye." Like just. I just don't like you, so you can have it a week late.
I was going to put this out as a challenge to the listeners, but now I'm just sort of thinking to myself, no, I don't want to know if people are truthful after wanking. You know what I mean? It's like, do you know something good for you? If you want to masturbate, absolutely brilliant. But maybe we could just ask the question after you've masturbated or after you've had sex. Do you find it that you're more truthful, or do you just go to sleep? It's
I thought you were better looking than that. Yeah. Can you imagine? Just like.
What do they just mean when they're talking about honesty? They just go, look, I'm really sorry, that doesn't happen to me all the time. Actually, no, it does happen to me all the time. I'm being honest now because the endorphins have been released.
It's not you, it is actually me.
It is actually me, yeah.
That is a thing apparently, so I don't know how truthful it is, but...
Anyway, so for next week, we're going to be recreating these pictures whilst having a load of letters under our arms so we can go and frig in the toilets. So... So next time we might be sober when we start doing the show again. Who knows? But anyway, until then, bye.